Hello and welcome to our third video explaining our third article here at Exploring Happiness. This one is about the impact of mental health on the economy. We've only got two sections here in this paper, so it's quite short and sweet. The first section is us basically trying to convince you that the impact of mental health on the economy is large. And the second section, we just talk about the factors that lead to a happy life.
So, for section one then, we've collected lots of data to try and convince you that the impact of mental health on the UK economy is large. 17.6% of people in the UK have been diagnosed with either a mental health illness or a substance use disorder. And this is just the amount of people that are being diagnosed. There are many more people in the UK that go undiagnosed, so the number could be 10 or 15% higher than this. In addition to this, the Prince's Trust recently asked YouGov to complete a survey of around 2,500 young people in the UK. They've been doing so for the last 15 years, and the results were quite damning. Double the amount of young people nowadays feel as though that life is not worth living as compared with 2009. And the main way that mental health impacts the UK economy is through the labour market. So this means looking at people with a job and also looking at people without a job but would like one. By way of an example, in the paper we come up with this idea of an unemployment trap. So this is a vicious cycle of unemployment that includes a mental health effect. So to give you an understanding of how it works, it's as a person becomes unemployed, we know from happiness economics research that their happiness immediately drops by the loss of income. If they then struggle to find a job for longer than, let's say, 3 to 6 months, then their happiness will drop further just by the fact that they've lost their position in society. And this means that the probability of a mental health illness suddenly increases quite substantially. And this will then mean that the probability of them finding a new job is now even lower, because we know that people that have depression, their motivation levels decrease, and therefore the likelihood of them actually finding a new job is now lower. So you can see how this leads to this vicious cycle of being unemployed for even longer. And then in section 2, we look at the factors that determine a happy life. We compared two different methods of doing this. One is conducted by a previous paper in the World Happiness Report. They use within-country data, which means using surveys of lots of different people within one country, whereas we use cross-country data, so we have averages for different variables across many different countries across the world. The results of our analysis find that using within-country data is more informative for policy analysis. The only caveat would be that when we broke down our cross-country data to a small subset of quite similar countries, then you get kind of similar results as the within-country data. So when we do further policy work, we'll either use a subset of countries that are quite similar to each other, or we'll just focus on one country at a time.
So next month our paper is about neuroscience. It's an introduction to neuroscience and then a little bit of information about how neuroscience links to happiness and how it can be useful for us in happiness economics research. Bye!
Bye.